Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for being here with me again today. My name is Kelly Egan, and this is Nothing But Tracks. For those of you who are new to the show, this is my podcast called Nothing But Tracks. I started this podcast because I wanted to share my love of traveling, adventuring, and hiking and camping with all of you guys. Give you some trips of the trade that I've learned over 26 years of hiking, camping, adventuring experience. Maybe you can avoid some of the pitfalls and mistakes that I've made along the way. And if you are an expert camper, maybe this will make you kind of laugh and giggle and be like, haha, that dumb girl doesn't know what she's doing. And that's true. I never claimed to be an expert. If anything, I'm an expert at messing up. And I'm going to use the word messing because I'm trying to keep this as PG as humanly possible. So, adults, use your imagination. Okay. But this is my podcast. It's a place for me to share my thoughts, feelings, emotions, tips, tricks, recommendations, places to hit, places to avoid. And essentially, it's a what not to do. And speaking of what not to do, that brings me to rule number 16, how not to buy a pack. All right, guys. So whether you're new to hiking or camping or traveling or a bit of an expert, a bit of a seasoned pro, one thing you really do need if you're going to be out in the woods for any extended period of time is a good book bag, a good backpack, a good day pack. If you're going to be serious about it, you need to have something functional. Functional is the key word here, guys. So I feel really stupid because I fell for all of the things that people fall for when buying a pack, okay? First thing I did is I decided what I wanted. And I decided I wanted a whole day pack, something that I can have out there from dusk till dawn that can fit everything I would possibly need under the sun in it. That's what I wanted. I wanted something that is big enough to get everything and the kitchen sink, okay? I wanted a big pack. That's what I wanted. So I know quite a bit about outdoor brands, so I kind of knew what brands to start with. Deuter, Kelty, Osprey. Let me think of some others. REI has some really good stuff. So I started looking at those particular brands because I knew if I was going to buy something, I was going to buy it one time, I was going to spend the money on it, I was going to invest in it and get me a good piece of gear that's going to hold up for a long time. Patagonia is another one of those brands, and a lot of those brands have a lifetime warranty on them as well. So I figure if I tear it up and I spend the money on it, I can always get it replaced or fixed or sewn back up or whatever the case may be. So I looked at a couple different of the brands. I like the Patagonia stuff, but I don't like their bags and luggage so much. I like more of their outerwear. So I decided against Patagonia. I looked at Kelty, but the brand that spoke out to me the most, that I like their style, I like the way that they did things, I like their business model, is Osprey. Now, you can have your own opinions about a lot of these brands. That's totally fine. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. It's just my personal preference. I really like the Osprey packs. I think they have a great product. I would absolutely recommend it to anybody who's willing to spend the money on it. So I looked on their website. And so I found on their website there was this little pick your pack kind of situation. So it's like, how long do you want to be out? Click this. What color do you want it to be? Pick this. So it asked you 5 or 6 questions, and then it came up with some recommendations for some packs for you. And the website recommends some different packs for you. I didn't like the packs that it was recommending for me because they weren't pretty. They weren't cute. So I adjusted my settings to come up with something that's a little bit more fashion forward. And I ended up talking myself into the Archeon 25. Now, I am not doing any shade against the Archeon 25. It is a beautiful pack. But for my purposes, it's not functional enough for my everyday purposes. If I lived more in a city, or I rode the subway, or I bicycled to work, or the book bag was going to double as like my work bag if I worked in an office, I would absolutely go for it because it's super trendy. It has this beautiful roll top opening, bucket style. I love it. I love so many things about this pack. But what I realized is I'm actually going out of town this weekend with a friend of mine. And what I realized is as I was packing is that the pack was too big. It was too big for 99.8% of the things that I'm actually going to do out in the woods. This pack is perfect for about 2% of the things that I'm actually going to use it for. And I spent way too much money on it. I had to order it. I had to order it in this color I wanted because this is me, guys. Color is not the first priority when buying something. It's probably the last thing. But if I'm going to spend the money on something I want, I'm not just going to take whatever color they have in the store. If I want it bad enough, I'll order the right color that I want. Because this pack was $150. It was pretty expensive. And I think the store I went to only had it in stock in blue. And I really wanted it in red, because most of my dad's gear is green. A lot of my brother's gear is black. So I tried to pick my own color and get all of my gear in the same color, or as close to the same color as possible. So that way when we're unpacking the car or whatever, it's really easy. Oh, all my gear is the red gear. Throw all the red gear in a pile. That's kind of why I do that. I try to stick as much to red and black as possible, just for my personal preference. So I had to order it. It took 2 weeks to get in. Then I had to go pick it up, and I loved it. And naturally, I took the tags off of it as soon as I got home. Should have left the tags on it until I went to use it for my first trip, or at least save the tags. I don't even know where they are. So I bought this pack, and I convinced myself that it was going to be totally functional. Oh yeah, this roll top is going to be really nice because if I want to throw something extra down in there, I have the room because it's expandable. Oh, I love these outside pockets. These pockets are great. Oh, this is totally functional. I can totally work with this. Oh, it has enough room for my camera and my extra lens. And it does. It does have all those things. But the realistic part of my brain is, as I was trying to pack it for this upcoming trip, I realized how annoying the roll top is to get into. It's so much easier to open up a zipper and get to something quickly, as opposed to the way that this pack is set up. And I'll show you guys a couple pictures of it online. I'll pack it and I'll show it to you and you'll see what I mean. But it's got this hook in the front. Then you have to open it up. Then you have to zip it down. Then you have to fold down the top and then reach in blindly and find what you're looking for. And yes, it looks beautiful. And it might be a great thing for you and for your everyday uses. But for me, for what I want it for, it's just not practical because I don't really need a pack that's going to be out there from dusk till dawn. If anything, I need a pack that's going to maybe make it 5 or 6 hours in the woods tops. Something that is essentially big enough to have everything that you would have in your pockets in a pack. Because women's clothes, especially hiking clothes, don't have pockets. And I'm still losing weight and getting healthy. So I'm not about to go buy some new clothes to go hiking in that aren't going to fit me in 2 months. So what I really needed was a pack that's small enough to be glorified pockets and something that's big enough that I can throw my camera and my extra lens in, and maybe an outer layer as I get hot and I shed it off and put it in the pack. Really, that's all I need. I need something small enough, functional enough, and lightweight enough that I can actually carry on any and every hike that I go on. And something a little bit big enough that if I wanted to throw something else extra in there, I could. Essentially, I needed glorified pockets. That's really what I needed. And if I'm going to have something on my back, I want it to be big enough that I can have a water bottle in it, that I can have my extra lens in it. So what I really needed was an 18 to 20 liter pack, not a 25 liter pack, which is what I originally bought. So after I bought the Archeon 25 and after I started realizing what I'm going to need for this upcoming trip and realizing that it's not going to work for me, I'm like, okay, I got to go back to work here. I got to figure out what's actually going to work for me. So I started over. I went back to Osprey and I went back to that Find Your Pack that they have on there. And I adjusted the settings. I do not need an all-day pack. I need a maybe 5 to 6 hour pack. I don't need something crazy. I don't need something that's going to be gigantic. I don't need a 40 liter pack, okay? I need an 18 to 20 liter pack, something lightweight, something functional with zippers that has 2 water bottle pockets and a front shove-it pocket. And the reason I wanted a front shove-it pocket is so I can push my camera down in there so it's not bouncing around on my chest as I'm out hiking in the woods. That's what I needed. That's what I wanted. And so as I searched and searched, I came across something called the Daylight Plus Day Pack. And I immediately fell in love with it. It was small, it was lightweight, it was compact. I looked at the videos on Osprey's website where it's like a product tour. They show you what you can do with it. And I liked it. So then I go to YouTube. I look at the product reviews. I look at the people who tell you the real, this is what's great about it, this is what I don't like about it, this is cool, this is kind of stupid. And I actually listened to all of those things. I looked at reviews. I spent, 2.5 days looking at reviews and stuff and watching people walk through everything that they had packed in it, how it held up after a couple years' time. And I even looked at the older version of it too, because they had another version that came out in 2018, and I think this pack has been out since 2020. Do not quote me on that. I'm probably wrong. But there was an older version of it that I had found on Amazon, on YouTube, and on eBay that was a couple years older, and it was cheaper. So I'm thinking, oh, well, if the upgrades aren't worth it, then maybe I'll get the cheaper one. You know what I'm saying? $30 is $30. That's how I look at it. So I started looking, and then before I ever buy anything, this is something I did with the Archeon as well, is I go to the stores that I know that carry this stuff. I want to get my hands on one. I want to see how it feels on my back, because it could be great on paper, but the straps might dig into me. It might do this and might not feel good. It may not be the material I want. And before I buy it, I want to get it on. I want to try it. So this last weekend, my dad and I went to 3 or 4 different outdoor stores, and they had the old version and they had the new version. So I got it on my back. I put a water bottle in it. They have these like weights in them that you can put in there. So I put a 5-pound weight, I put a 10-pound weight, and I walked around each store for over an hour while I was shopping and doing other things to see if I can carry the weight. And I decided it was worth it for me to get the newest version, because the water bottle pockets on the old one were made of this more meshy material where you can actually see through it. And it wasn't quite as tight to the pack at the top, so the water bottle was more likely to fall out. And with the new pack, it had a more close-knit, so you really couldn't see what was in it. And the elastic on the top was a lot stronger, so the water bottle was less likely to fall out. So I ended up deciding I wanted to go with the newer version, and I wanted the bigger size, because instead of the Daylight, I got the Daylight Plus, which essentially the biggest difference is that it has an exterior shove-it pocket for my camera. And my camera fits perfectly, which I was so excited about. So when you're buying a pack, be honest with yourself. Don't sit there and try to talk yourself into wanting the pretty, good-looking, expensive pack, because the reality is it's going to look great on the floor in your closet, because you're not going to use it and it's just going to collect dust. So now I'm trying to figure out how to sell it and try to make my money back, or as close to my money back as possible, because I'm not going to use it. And for the one event or the one day where I might need it, I'm going to be out with another person more than likely. So whatever I need to carry that I can't fit in my own pack, I'll have them throw in theirs, or I'll tie it around my waist. I'll figure it out. But I don't need another whole pack for that. So there you go, guys. When it comes to buying a pack, do not talk yourself into the biggest, baddest, prettiest pack out there. Do not tell yourself you need all these extra features when you really, really don't. Yes, are they cool? Heck yeah, they're cool. Are they functional? Yeah, they're functional. Are you ever going to need those features or those functions? No, you're not. So do yourself a favor. Be honest with yourself. Be honest about what you need, what are wants, what are needs, and what are wants. And do not make a impulsive decision. I told myself that I wasn't making an impulsive decision because I'd researched it for a couple days. That is still an impulsive decision. If you have thought about it for a month and a half, okay, fine. But do not be impulsive about it, because if you are, you're going to find a beautiful pack for your closet that you're never going to use. All right, guys, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for listening to me. I'll see you in the next one. Take nothing but memories, guys, and leave nothing but tracks. Bye!